Hello Internet, I'm VZ and welcome to another episode of I Like to Video Games, the show where I like video games. You know, I could really use a palate cleanser after that, unfortunateness. How about a JRPG? I like those. I do really like JRPGs. Some of my favorite games are those, but even I have to admit they've kind of lost their way recently. I need a good old-fashioned adventure with magic and dragons and all that good stuff. Hark back to the days of yore, before voice acting and pre-rendered cutscenes, when hairstyles were sensible, swords were regular-sized, and the line between jerpigs and werpigs was much blurrier. Okay, let's see, what have we got on the old gaming shelf? Let me see. Suikoden. Where'd this come from? Somebody been leaving stuff in my apartment again. Will do. The Suikoden series is a thematically connected series of games that are loosely based on the Chinese classical novel known as Water Margin in English. I've heard a lot about this series, but haven't really played any of them. I've heard lots of different opinions on the games, either that they're underrated or overrated or better with hot sauce or whatever else have you. The one thing I always hear is that there are billions and billions of characters to collect. Okay, there's only 108, and some of them aren't used in battle, but still, 108? That's only 42 less than the original Pokemon's 2.5 Chrono Crosses stapled together? Sounds like a lot to go through, so I guess I better get started. The first thing that hits me is this PS1 power screen. Haven't heard that in a while. Brings me way back to the days of Saturday morning cartoons, pajamas, and Lucky Charms.
I'm also getting a kick out of this info sequence.
No real reason for it other than a rush of vague nostalgia, but now I need to name my main character. Other web reviewers will come up with something funny or clever. Damn, that's a lot of pressure. How's about shoes? Because he's got them? I got nothing else, and he seems to like it. Look at him, using his shoes. It's so appropriate! So, okay, Shoes and his father, Teo, tea time? Are in an audience with the Emperor. My dad has to head north to guard the border, and I'm enlisted into the army. I will be taking orders from a guy named Craze, a name that totally inspires confidence, and a face to match. After that, I go home and I meet the rest of my family and friends. I'm also able to move around now and engage in all the traditional JRPG silliness. Walking into strangers' houses, completely absorbing your party members, that's always a hoot. This is great. I haven't played a retro RPG like this in a long time. It feels very fluid compared to some of its contemporaries, but for the most part feels very familiar. Although it's probably the first time in a JRPG anybody's mistaken a chick for a dude, and not t'other way around. When I first started exploring the environments, the first thing that occurs to me is to search every barrel, every jar, every dresser. There could be items! What's really disappointing is that there don't appear to be any items. Outside sources tell me that items aren't really lying around in this game, and that I will collect them from enemies, chests, and stores pretty exclusively. So what am I supposed to do for fun? Well, we'll get to that. Alright, so moving on with the game, it's established that the game allows you to have a party of 6 people. 4 of your close friends, siblings, bodyguards, I'm not really sure who they are, join you, and thus begins your quest to gather 108 allies. Shoes and his friends then begin getting missions from Craze. I have to collect taxes, defeat bandits, and at one point I get a ride from a guy named Futch and his dragon named Black. Some really all over the place names in this game. We get classics like Ted or Cleo, we get new twists on old favorites like Matthew, your standard fantasy style names like Gremio or Pawn, one guy's even named Shoes, I mean what's up with that? And then there's, well, what the fudge kind of name is Futch? Excuse me, but did that dragon just elephant at me? I'm sorry, what was that? After a boss fight that I totally had to do but totally couldn't win, starting to feel like a real jerpig, my friend Ted reveals that he has super fuck you up powers and saves the day. But the court sorceress, Wendy, hears about this business and decides it's time for Ted to share by any means necessary. Ted gives his SFYU powers to Shoes for safekeeping, and we find out that Ted, the wispy little childhood friend, is actually a 300-year-old world wanderer who's been hiding some pretty crazy firepower this whole time. Because of this betrayal by the Imperial officers, Shoes and company wind up as part of the rebel army and dedicate their lives to bringing down the status quo. I mean, gotta bring down the status quo. Why else would you play a video game? Okay, so yeah, we're in the Liberation Army now. The first order of business is to get designs for something called a fire spear to the secret factory. I honestly cannot wait until I get a fire spear. But until then, we're sending the leader of the rebellion on a walking tour of the land, along with the designs for what will probably turn out to be our last hope.
Sounds alright. Let's go.
Of course, the secret factory is nicely secret, being on the other side of the mountains and all. While crossing the mountains, it gets dark, and this dude named Leadon offers us his services. Yeah, I'm not supposed to spend the night at sketchy-looking strangers' houses, but I am pretty tired, apparently. When inside, Leadon offers us some tea, and is rather insistent. I don't like bitter tea! Ultimately, the only way to move the game forward is to agree to drink the totally poisoned tea. Eventually, some other guys come in and realize that they've kidnapped the leader of the Liberation Army, who is basically on their side. This event is frustrating because, well, it happens, and nothing happens because of it. We don't even get these guys in our party, but the bigger issue is all of these questions they ask the player, without any true options. I didn't test each and every one of them so far, but on more than one occasion I chose what seemed like the logical choice, only to be shut down by a single sentence from some character, and I get another chance to do what the game wants me to. I think there's even one time where they only give you one choice. Nope, wrong answer, no, drink your bitter tea! Next up, acquiring our very own castle. Wait a minute, did you say castle?
I'm liking this so far.
That's the dumbest castle I've ever seen. Oh well, I guess I'll have to do. First things first, clear out all the monsters. It's going quite smoothly until— holy shit, what the fuck is that? Owanis? Whatever it is, it's creepy. Looks like something out of The Thing, only with a dragon head.
Hey, elephant dragon, got any advice? Done and done.
After beating up the zombified dragon at the end, we get our very own castle, which we have to name. Oh crap, more naming. Well, Shoes is living there, so... Having your own castle is a huge draw for a lot of people. Recruiting characters is now often as easy as looking for someone who has a face pictured alongside their dialogue box and saying recruit. So at this point, what used to be jars, barrels, fucking chests quickly becomes recruit, join me, come on people, you have faces, I want your face. Yeah, every now and then the story comes back and you can run a dungeon or whatever, but it always comes back to faces, give me your face, I need the faces.
The faces will be mine. The faces. The precious faces.
The plot begins to escalate when a half-drowned elf washes up on the shore of the castle. He informs the Liberation Army that the Imperial General Quanda Rosman is bent on genocide and plans to exterminate the elves by way of his own SFYU power. In what turns out to be a diplomatic mission, we find out the elves and the dwarves don't like each other. Surprise, surprise. And nobody's all that fond of the humans. Long story short, the elves throw me in prison, and I'm ready and raring for the traditional our heroes must now make a harrowing escape from the veritable labyrinth of a dungeon jerk-pig trope. I love this one. It's like in every RPG ever. Okay, let's see what we're up against. Chrono Trigger plunges you into the decay and sorrow that is the prison system of a cold and uncaring monarchy, with the shocking turn that is finding out that there are monsters in their employ and the entrance to the dungeon is guarded by a mechanical dragon. Frickin' A. Illusion of Gaia threw you into a dungeon meant not to contain but to torture, with wild monsters running free in a maze-like sewer system, and your only chance for survival is a blessing from the spirit of the planet Earth itself. Flipping A. Final Fantasy VIII had those spinning towers with the staircases that you had to go up and then down and then up and then down and then up and then down and then around and then up and then down and around and up and then down and... Let's not talk about Final Fantasy VIII. Chrono Cross had you escaping the brig of a ghost ship. Freaking ghost ship! With pirates! Yeah! So, what does Suikoden have for us? Drumroll, please. We get by with a little help from our friends. Also, the entire dungeon is just one room in some dude's basement. So no prison level, just this guy's twisted hobby room. Once we're outside the cell, this rather horse-facey fellow named Stallion approaches me and says straight up he can run pretty fast. I shall show you how fast I can run? Seriously? Can't come up with something a bit more— Holy shit, that guy's fast! Did you see that? Jeez, that guy's fast. No, wait, come back. Aw, I want to collect your face. Damn. So now the game offers us some new play ideas, namely large-scale battles and one-on-one duels. It's kind of disappointing once you realize that they both basically boil down to modifications of rock, paper, scissors, but I appreciate the fact that the developers at least tried to offer some varied mechanics. So the Liberation Army is on a roll, taking on general after general. The momentum is so great that we just keep on going.
Should we maybe go home, take a little break? Hell no, we've got generals to fight, thank you very much. No, march, soldier!
So I guess I had no choice. Okay, let's see. Magic attack. Seriously? I guess it's basically an unwinnable boss fight, but
It's really just a lame excuse to get us to run around and do more stuff. I mean, what's the plot event that goes along with this massacre?
this chick's got intense flowers. Wow. After some more errands, we come across a workaround for the flowers and attack. Crazy flower chick comes to see the error of his ways when— wait a minute, that's a guy? Oh, good. I was starting to get worried. The JRPG experience really wouldn't be complete without at least one guy who looks like a woman. Before I know it, it's time to use the fire spears I commissioned earlier in the game. I end up using them in battle against my own father. Yes, emotional drama and all that, which is actually handled pretty clunkily in the narrative, so I'm not going to dwell on it, because fucking fire spears! Oh yeah, watch me open up a can of Arthur Brown on him. What turns out to be a series of battle remorse recruit encounters with the enemy generals is broken up when it comes time to face the Neck Lord. Ooh, sounds dark. Well, this is a change of pace. For a time, he's shrouded in mystery. All we get are hints at who or even what he is. We know he's evil and that he's stealing women from villages for marriage? Nefarious purposes? Whatever. Eventually, it becomes apparent that he is in fact a vampire. Oh, ha ha ha, Neck Lord. I get it. 'Cause he likes necks? Am I right? Am I right? So Lord Nibblnecks is running around the countryside stealing girls and marrying them. So far, he's up to 69 and he's looking at a girl named Tengar for number 70. We find Tengar and her boyfriend, I guess, named Hicks, talking about whether or not she should just give herself up to the Neck Lord. Despite Hicks's protesting, she gets swept up to go to her wedding, and Shoes and company show up just in time for an invitation to the ceremony. Should we go? I mean, we hardly know the guy, and we only just met her. It might be really awkward. But regardless, we were invited to an wedding. And damn it, we're gonna go to the wedding. So when we get there, jeez, as if we're the only ones who showed up. Man, this is awkward. Where's the bar? So once we get to the speak now or forever hold your peace bit, Hicks has a lot to say, and he sucks at holding his peace anyways. It made for one awkward ceremony, and it got even worse when Necklord started dancing alone at the reception. So Tengar is saved, and we get some new characters. Not nearly as exciting as it used to be, because I'm kinda picking them up like Supermarket Sweep at this point. I have noticed that most of the characters are presenting more of a challenge. They're asking for requirements now. This guy wants a bunch of different seeds, this guy wants me to be a certain level, this girl wants me to have magic, this guy's ready and willing. Oh hey, that's good. He's an executioner? Sure, why not?
Guess we'll see how it goes.
I also happened to come across this thing called a nameless urn, which I'm told I need to recruit this one guy. That's awesome. Apparently this item is just a random drop I wasn't even looking for. I got the random drop. I should probably save. What's with the freeze frame? Wait a minute, I'm not in Adobe Premiere. Well, I am right now, but I wasn't then. I was playing the game. Aw, man, the game froze. I liked that nameless urn, 'cause it got me a face. I won't regale you with the tales of how long I ran around hoping for that drop to happen again, 'cause it didn't. Instead, we're gonna move on with the story. The Liberation Army continues to grow, and the time has come to forge an alliance with the Dragon Knights. We meet with their commander Joshua, a girl named Milia, and oh hey, it's Futch. Which probably means that Elephant Dragon is still around. Oh, jeez. Maybe if I keep talking, he won't. Hey, here's an idea. Let's skip ahead to the part where you die. Futch goes out on his own to steal a potion ingredient from the Emperor, Windy shoots him down during the escape, and Black, oh so unfortunately, perishes. This is convenient because the last ingredient of the potion happens to be a dragon's liver. He certainly won't be needing his anymore. Delicious dragon liver. So the Dragon Knights join the cause, and now it's time to start the approach to the capital. The weight of the situation begins to hit the party, and many of the characters become rather introspective and begin to reach out to each other. Thus far, I've found this game to be lacking a certain something, mostly in the kind of depth you'd expect from a high fantasy story with this many characters and this much room for backstory and character development. This scene here, in all seriousness, is a big step in the right direction. But right after the emotional significance, our strategist reveals that he had some of the other lieutenants whip up 500 boats made out of ice, and we can sail them off to fight a giant clan. Yep, back to business as usual, I guess. I mean, game's not over yet. First, we storm the floating fortress, which looks like it's just on an island anyways. Whatever, we burn it down and we take the general prisoner. Now the road is open to the capital. We get another sort of emotional high as a few of the lieutenants try to pump up a few of the troops. After one more glorious battle, Shoes and company storm the castle, surrounded by what is now a ghost town. I get the feeling this is gonna be huge. First, we fight a dude. He goes down pretty easy. Next, we walk forever through a castle fighting more dudes. This must be building to something big. Who knows what could be at the end of all this? An alternate dimension, another planet. I mean, this is a JRPG. All bets are off, right? We face off with the Emperor, he turns into a dragon, the battle commences, and then the game's over. Roll credits? But I only have 67 characters. What about alternate dimensions? Other planets? Coma dreams? This is actually the afterlife? Anything! I can't help but feel a little bleh about this ending. I mean, he turns into a dragon? That's your big thing for this game? Maybe I'm just biased towards big, ridiculous ultimate events because of conditioning, but oh no, by all means, a dragon. Not bad, I guess. And then the game does this where are they now thing to remind me of how much I only got 67 characters. Could have been 68. Fucking nameless urn. I need bacon. Fucking nameless urn.